Hi guys, welcome back to Between the Shelves. My name is Callum, also known as On the Shelf.
And I am Zach, also known as Uchuu Shelf.
So we're back with another episode, although we did have one previously recorded and, technology got in
Yeah,
the way of that.
it was
And
a good one too. So
yeah, but, this one will be even better, I'm
yeah,
sure. So,
yeah, for sure, easily.
um, so today on the podcast, we've got a few topics to discuss. We're initially going to kind of touch base on gatekeeping in
hmm
anime and the manga communities, and then we've got a new segment called the Monthly Manga Book Club. So, Zach, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so basically, I think earlier in January we put up a poll of like three manga, and then we said, pick a manga if you want. And the winner of that would be a manga we would read through that month, and then on the podcast at some point we would talk about it. And then during that month, if you guys want to get on in it, you can read it or watch it or whatever, and join in on the discussion. So the winner of January was Inuyashiki by Hiroya Oku, which we read through fairly quickly. For I think both of us probably the third or fourth time.
Yeah, I think all of Hiroya Oku's manga are just like really bingeable, so this was
Yeah,
a pretty good choice for a first start to the book
I
club.
think I read through it in two sittings because it's really, especially like the middle volumes. We'll get into it later, but like the middle volumes when it's just all action, it's just like flip, 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 flip.
Yeah, he's pretty good at action panels, so they just read really quickly.
hmm
We've also got towards the end of the podcast, we're going to discuss our next three picks for the manga book club,
Yeah,
and then also very quickly discuss a few manga series that we are excited for this year,
hmm
and what we've got up and coming on our YouTube channels.
all right.
So, shall we kick off with
Yeah,
gatekeeping
because
in
you had a
anime
bit of
and
fun with
manga?
this, didn't you?
Yeah, so if you follow me on Twitter, I actually tweeted, it was kind of stupid, really. I got a comment on one of my videos saying, go and read this series, and it was in all Japanese. And I had to then go and Google what the series actually was in English. And I mean, I'm just lazy, really. That was the issue. I was like, why the hell do I have to go and look this up? Why could they not have just told me? Because I think it was something like Blood on the Tracks or something. And I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah, okay.
that was so much easier to just say in English than it is in Japanese. So I tweeted and I just said, people who recommend series in Japanese instead of English with a little kind of like side eye emoji, like I was annoyed. And it got a lot of traction. A lot of people were like liking it and commenting and stuff. And I got one particular
Oh,
set of comments. We're not gonna give the guy the satisfaction by like saying
I'll
who
put
he
his name on
actually
the
was.
screen if you're watching it. If you're listening on Spotify, you're shit out of luck.
But he kind of gave me a lot of grief amongst other people on Twitter as well to say that if you're a true anime and manga fan, then you should apparently learn how to speak Japanese. That was the top and bottom of it, really, wasn't it?
That was so funny because like you were like, well, what the hell? Like it already has an official English name. He's like, yeah, but look at the logo. So I like popped in the My Hero Academia logo, which is Japanese, but then right at the top says in English My Hero Academia, and he's like, yeah, what does the bottom say? I was like, what? What are you talking about?
I think I get the fact that I'm not trying to be ignorant to the culture of it. I'm a bit like, yeah, there is a Japanese name of it, but it was kind of the elitist attitude that I didn't
Oh,
like.
I
That
hate it.
he seemed to feel like he was so much better than other fans of a series. When we're just like we're fans of it because we read it or we watch it. Like it's nothing to do with how I
That would
fucking recommend it
it
to
would be
people.
like if you know what? Nobody is a fan of Between the Shelves or either of our channels if they don't call it the original Japanese name. I've got it written down here. The Tananima Podcast. So if you don't call it that, you're not a real fan.
Yeah. I mean, just what I've never heard kind of like such a stupid take in all my life. Like it was the point where he was trying to say that you should recommend One Piece as like one pisu or something
I
like
saw
that.
that too. I
Like
was like, no, that was like, where I was like, this guy's got to be joking. Like nobody is this stupid.
yeah, but then I was saying to him like, yeah, fair enough. Like there's a Japanese name, but I'm an English speaking person, so I'm saying I wouldn't recommend something necessarily to someone who speaks Japanese but not English in
hmm
English. I would try and find out what it was in Japanese
And
for
it's
them.
yeah, like it's you can do it if you are talking to other anime fans. I think because they're gonna be like, okay, I'll just look that up and whatever. If I go up to like the average Joe and be like, hey, have you ever heard of Boku no blah 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 whatever the fuck? They'd be like,
Pico.
have you ever watched Boku?
Yeah,
They'd be
don't do
like,
that.
no, I haven't. What's it called? And then you have to repeat yourself and repeat this. It's like, wait, no, there's a better way to do it. Have you ever seen My Pico? I'm like, oh, okay, I'll look that up later. Don't, by the way, but
I
same
mean,
principle.
as if it's becoming more accessible now, but as if like being an anime and manga fan wasn't already difficult enough. Like we don't need to add a language barrier to that as well, and to
Yeah.
make people just think that we're fucking crazy because we can't say One Piece or Naruto. Do you know what I mean?
And the funny thing is like all the ones that like the one particular guy was saying he posted like the Naruto logo and the One Piece logo, and I'm like, my guy, in big English letters, the name is right there. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. Gatekeeping is, especially in the anime community, is so dumb. And like the one thing that pisses me off about it is like when people, and I used to be this kind of person, and that's maybe why it bothers me a little bit more than most people. But when people are like, "Oh, this celebrity likes anime," or this, and this one pisses me off the most. But oh, this girl only likes anime for the attention. I can promise you, nobody watches anime for attention.
No.
The attention you get, I don't know if it's the same for kids these days, but like the attention I got for like an anime in like high school and stuff, I wouldn't wish on anybody.
Yeah, I was kind of like I would keep it a secret that I liked
Oh, I
anime and
started to.
stuff.
I started to at one point, but
I mean, it is good. It is good that it's become a more mainstream thing. I'm
mhm.
probably guilty at some point for like hating on someone who said their favorite series was like Sword Art Online or something. And
No,
I feel bad for it now, but I wouldn't do it now. Do you know what I mean? But then to go to the extreme of like, because I would say we are fucking massive manga
oh
fans.
yeah,
Like we
oh
have
yeah.
huge collections. We do fucking podcasts and have like YouTube channels
We make
about it.
videos
So
about it for fun, so yeah, we're pretty.
to try and
Yeah,
say that we're not fans of the medium because we don't speak Japanese is just ludicrous. And
yeah,
I don't think I'm not trying to kind of inspire hate towards this guy. I think I feel sorry for him more than anything
yeah.
that he can't just enjoy something
That's the
without
thing too.
me.
Like it's just like people who gatekeep. It's like why can't you just shut up and enjoy it? Like why? Like what drives you to be like, you only watch like shonen? Okay, whatever. Like who cares? Why do you care
Yeah,
so much? Like I don't get it. I don't know.
yeah, I agree. I think as well, like some of my favorite series. I mean, I've got my top 10 manga video coming out today, and
Oh,
some of the ones on that would be considered basic. Do you know what I mean? People might be
yeah.
like, why are you recommending this? Like, everyone's read that, but I don't think that's always the
I
case.
think I wonder if it's like a case of just being young too, because like when I was younger, I was like I only watch mature anime for mature people such as myself,
Yeah.
and I would be like, Naruto, no, Bleach, well, and I used to love these series too, but it was like, no, I don't like these anymore. I just became like an elitist for absolutely no
Mm.
reason. Um, Now I'm gonna be 30 in like 2 months, and I'm like, for example, reading One Piece for the first time, and I fucking love it. It's
Yeah.
like childish as shit for some people, but I enjoy it. It's just like at some point you just gotta let go of like who the hell cares? Just enjoy it.
I think the most elitism that I see as well in the community usually comes from like people who read scans. Like, would you agree? I
Hmm.
think that it's that underbelly of like the manga community that they think they're better than everyone else because they've read the chapters earlier and they go on
Yeah,
Twitter and spoil it for everyone. Just
yeah.
the sort of people that you hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're the worst type of people.
But let's move on to some sort of positivity, I guess, and
Yeah,
actually just talk about some manga that we like.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, as Zach said before, we started this idea of a manga book club. We say it's monthly. We're gonna try and stick to that, but if you know anything about the history of this podcast, it might not
It'll
be
be yearly.
monthly.
It'll be the yearly manga book club.
But it's a great idea. I've always sort of liked the idea of doing something like this. It
Yeah.
gives us more of a reason to read more series. Like we were saying before we started recording, we both read far more manga this month because of this book club, which is
Hmm.
a good thing. To go over the series that were kind of previously recommended that didn't win, we had Muji Rushi, which is a Naoki Urasawa short story. Which have you read that yet?
Not yet.
No, so maybe we'll add that again to another kind of
Yeah.
poll in the future. And then I had like Go Go Monster as well, but I'm planning a whole review for that because it was fucking weird. And
It's a
that,
weird
that
manga, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, it was an odd choice. We kind of threw it in randomly, but
Yeah.
looking back, it seems mean as well because you can't really get that series legally, or can you
No,
get
you,
it
you can
digitally?
get it. You can get a digital copy.
Yeah,
I
so
wouldn't. I would find a way to get it legally, of
yeah,
course. Of course.
yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. We're big supporters of legal manga, but yeah. So the winner for this monthly manga book club was Inuyashiki by Hiroya Oku.
Yep.
It's a fairly short manga. As we said before, a lot of his manga they just fly by. Shall we just start off first and foremost by just sort of quickly discussing what we like about Hiroya Oku and
Yeah.
his manga in general? You know, how you discovered him, maybe.
Sure. It's how I just how did I think I just discovered him. I watched like the Gantz anime. There's like a channel in Canada that was like a paid per view kind of thing. So
Yeah.
like you could order like certain blocks of time on this. Like, it was so stupid how cable worked back in the day. Now that I think about it. You could order the channel for like a day or two, and then watch
Yeah.
the channel. And they ran like Samurai 7, Samurai Champloo, and then what the hell was it? Basilisk, and then Gantz. So I that's why I would watch that, and I'd like every week I'd pay for this channel and watch it on Friday or whatever.
How old were you when you was watching this stuff?
Oh, I was in high school for sure. So not old enough.
Yeah.
I might have been 15, I think. So, yeah, not old enough, but old enough to appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think it was like the third or fourth episode of Gantz, because like, it was after the Onion Alien, but it was when that like Angelina Jolie looking girl comes in.
I forget about her, you know.
I know, I do
She's the
too.
most forgettable character, but I don't understand why he put
But
her
it
in
was
there.
it was the episode where spoiler, it's not really a spoiler, but where Kay is like he starts like he's like, oh, she's hot, and then she's like, you want to go have sex, and then they do, and that was my first scene of like Gantz that I ever saw.
Jesus.
I was like, whoa, hold on here, what's going on? And then they went and go kill aliens. I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. And then like
Yeah,
I was like, I watched Gantz over and over again. And I was like, oh yeah, manga. And then I read the manga. And then yeah, Inuyashiki came out. I read that. Gigant is out now that I'm reading. That's pretty much it.
Had you read Gantz like in its entirety before you started buying it, or had you just read a bit of it online or something before?
I read a bit of it online. I'm really bad at this right now because I don't care about Dark Horse anymore. And I'll complain.
I know, I have noticed that.
I have no sympathy for Dark Horse anymore. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best to buy it legally. They don't even have digital copies. They've already released the series in its entirety. They could easily do digital. I know there's like a big pandemic going on, so I don't want to sound like a whiny first world, nut job. But
Yeah.
I can't keep waiting for this. So like I pirated the rest of Gantz. So
It does seem like they only care about sort of Berserk as a series, and that's it really.
That's it.
Everything else
That's it,
just
yeah.
gets pushed to one
yeah,
side.
so I mean, I got the first 5 omnibuses. The sixth one I think comes out in May, which is like goddamn. And then, but I wanted to do a full series reviews because I did the Phase 1 review, and then
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not waiting. So I read the whole thing. I've only just read the whole thing in the last like 3 months. So
I don't blame you. That's literally how
I'm still
I
gonna buy it,
first-
but I'm
Yeah.
not waiting. Like
That's how I first discovered Hiroya Oku. It
Yeah.
was just like online, and like holy shit, this is mental. And then I think I watched the live action Gantz film.
yeah, those are pretty good.
Which I recommend if you like those sort of things. The I'm a Hero one's pretty good as well. But although that's not by Hiroya Oku, but
Oh,
know,
you've watched the I'm a Hero. Sorry, this is gonna be a sidebar, guys. You've watched the movie of it?
yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, the scene when they're in the underground of the mall and he's like, all the zombies are coming at him and he's just fucking shooting them all down. Oh my god, it's so cool.
I like them. I think there's not that many that I've seen like manga or anime
Yeah.
adaptations in Asian cinema that have been good. Like the Attack on Titan one is absolute
It was
bollocks.
garbage. Absolute shit, that was. And it had the potential to be good too. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, sorry for like kind of sort of diverting off on a bit of a tangent there. That will happen in this podcast.
Yeah.
But,
Deal with it.
but yeah, like to discuss, I guess, Inuyashiki, I have a few kind of general sort of questions about what you thought of it,
Yeah.
etc. But we can mostly just again go off on tangents and whatever.
I do
So
actually, before we do this, want to go off on a really quick tangent. But like, I follow
that's fine.
Hiroya Oku on Twitter, and right now
Yep.
he's just started watching Breaking Bad for the first time, so he keeps posting, like he's like, "Oh, this scene is so cool," and he's like, "It's just so funny to see," you know.
He does posts quite a lot on Twitter, and he always posts like um sort of figures of his characters that he's obviously he
I
owns,
like
but
when he
he's like,
retweets like cosplayers that like cosplay
yeah.
like Reika or something, and it's just like a half naked woman, and he's like that.
I think he tweeted about Lost as well, or like The Walking Dead or
Yeah,
something, and I was losing my shit at that as well. Yeah, he seems like a really cool guy. He
I can
seems like
only
a
yeah.
pervy guy, but a
Uh,
really cool guy.
I mean, yeah. Have you seen some? I mean, Gigant. We'll get to that
Yeah.
later, but he has to be a bit pervy. But no, there was one tweet in particular that I absolutely loved, and it might be just be Google Translate like screwing up the translation. But he's like, "Yeah, Breaking Bad's really cool. I like the Pinkman character. He's cute." And I was like, "Okay, sure."
Have you noticed as well that in Inuyashiki he kind of like sort of markets himself, like he's put like Gantz posters in there, the characters talk about Gantz, and then I think he even puts his like Twitter on there at one
Yep,
point, like
yep.
there's a phone with his like Twitter handle on it. I thought that was cool. One way
There's
to
a
market yourself.
we'll talk about Gigant a bit later, but like this part he does the same thing in Gigant, where like the main like guy character and like the porn star character are like talking on Twitter, and she's like, "I need a new anime to watch," and he's like, "Have you seen Inuyashiki? It's really good." And she's like, "I haven't. Is that by the same guy who did Gantz?" And it's like this guy like, and like I don't know. It's just
It's
yeah,
bizarre because if you're already reading his manga, then you're already aware of who he is and what he's put out. So it's a bit like pointless to do that, but it's
it's
still
just
fun.
really funny. I fucking love
Yeah.
it.
So do you want to kind of just give? I mean, everyone who's listening to this podcast has hopefully read at least some Inuyashiki. But
Hmm.
if you're listening to this for the first time, then sorry, there probably will be spoilers.
Yeah.
But do you want to just give a quick rundown of what Inuyashiki is about?
Basically, a One Piece fan and an Astro Boy fan become robots, and they fight, and that's more or less it. No, okay, so it's basically this old guy who is down on his luck. His name is Inuyashiki. Um, he gets diagnosed with cancer, and his life kind of sucks. Like his kids don't appreciate him. His wife is like, "Hey, go like get us money," kind of shit. He gets a dog who actually loves him, and he feels a bit of like sense of purpose there. And he goes out for a walk one night, and he goes to the park, and there's this other guy standing there. And then out of nowhere, this like alien ship crashes into them and kills them. And these aliens are like, "Oh, what do we do? I don't know. Just put their body or their minds in like these weapon robots." And then they fuck off, and that's it. And then it basically follows the contrast of these two like learning to, I guess like deal with the fact that they're robots now while retaining some sense of humanity. But the main guy, Inuyashika, the old guy, he uses his abilities for good. Like he goes around, he cures cancer. He like saves people from house fires and shit like that. And
Yeah.
then there's Hiro, who's like this younger high schooler, like edge lord kind of guy, and he's like, I'm just gonna pick a. There's one scene where he like covers his eyes, he spins around, points at the house, goes in and kills everyone. But he's doing it because like he realizes he's a robot. He has like no humanity to him, and he's trying to feel something. So like
Yeah, it's like they both like search for meaning in their lives,
yeah,
but one of them gets satisfaction from doing good things, and the other one actually says that he feels alive when he's
when
killing
killing people.
people.
Yeah, yeah.
The weirdest thing, now you've mentioned it, is that obviously I've just read it recently, and I
Mhm.
remember how they became robots. But you'd think that the aliens would come back into it, but they don't.
That's the one thing actually that I thought was so weird because like Gantz was such a high concept sci-fi series, and like throughout the entirety of the first part, it's like spoiler for if you haven't read Gantz. They're like I'm like nobody asked this, but like I'm like where the hell did these black balls come from?
Yeah,
And then it goes into it. It goes into where
yeah,
they come from, which is like really stupid, but you know. But these aliens come down. They're like, oh, whoops, this happened.
yeah.
There's no like divine reason for it. It's just literally an accident, and then they fuck off, and that's the last you hear of them.
So it's kind of like I think they even say like shit, like should we have put all that weaponry in them? They could destroy the planet, and they're like, yeah, it'll be fine. And
Yeah,
then they just
that's it, and then
go
they just
away.
leave.
He literally, yeah, Oku's great because he just gets these weird ideas, like putting dinosaurs in Gantz or putting vampires in there, and then it's like he gets bored of his own ideas, and he goes like, let's just see where we can go with this.
Yeah,
So
and it always works out. It
Inuyashiki's
always works out.
Yeah, it's so similar. It's just a big experimentation kind of manga where he has these really off the cuff ideas of
Yeah,
what would happen if people became weaponized and and let loose into the world.
yeah,
It's great.
like
Um, the initial thing I remember when I started reading this is that it has such an interesting main character in that all of these kind of even his previous series are all these young um
yeah.
teenage sort of characters, and this is probably the first manga that I've read with a really old age protagonist, I guess.
Which I remember the first time I ever read it, I was like, this is gonna be like weird. This is kind of like outside of what, because at first it doesn't seem like it's gonna be like this high sci-fi kind of thing that Oku
Yeah.
usually does. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be like a slice of life about this guy who has cancer or whatever. And this is different, but that's okay. And then no, so he kind of, you know, who he reminds me of. He reminds me of the old guy from Gantz a little bit. Even looks like
Yeah.
him a little bit, but I don't know. He just draws old people like so well.
He's such a likable character as well. Like
Hmm.
I felt like a lot of his other series, that some of the characters just feel like fodder or like
Yeah,
um just complete arseholes, and there's still dickheads in this series as well. Like his kids for a start are
his
just
kids
absolutely
suck.
horrible to him. Like they're
His
just
daughter is a
so
huge asshole, and then
yeah
becomes like a significant character later on out of nowhere. His
yeah
son is a dick. It's like there was the one scene where he's like walking home and he sees his dad like just sitting in a like I think he's just eating noodles or some shit
yeah.
in a noodle bar or whatever, and he's like, shit, don't look at me, don't see me, and then like they're walking home together and he's like, do you have to walk right next to me? I'm like, what the fuck? What is wrong with these kids?
Because his whole thing is that he looks a lot older than he actually is, and what I took from that is that he's kind of worked his whole life to try and
Yeah,
make sure his family is supported, and it's actually made him a bit more weathered and looks a bit more like older than so all of his family seem really embarrassed of him. It's like, oh, is that your granddad? And she's like, yeah, or
yeah.
something. Like she just blows him off and pretends that she doesn't know who he is, or just some old guy. I just felt really sorry for him. So it was quite cool to see him later be so empowered and get all these cool abilities. And he has the natural response of like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on with my body? Whereas the other character, Hero,
Yeah,
just seems to pick up everything straight away and just be this really like
yeah,
prodigy almost, and just use his powers because they can do anything, can't they? They can like intercept satellite transmissions and use their own like bodies as like to communicate through people's telephones. They can fly. They can
can do it
control
all.
traffic.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was the thing I like about the Inuyashiki character is that like everybody looks at old people, especially even like not just in manga, like in general, everybody looks at like, kind of old people. Not saying we do this, but like society does it to a point where they're like, oh, they're old and they don't do anything, so
yeah,
like they're kind of in the way. And people kind of look at Inuyashiki like that. They're like, he's kind of invisible in society because he's older and like people perceive him as not having any value to society. And then he's the guy who saves the fucking world. We'll get to that in a minute, but like it's just a really cool thing to see. But it's like, don't knock on your elders kind of thing. Like these people are valuable.
yeah. I think as well that one of the things that I found a bit weird about this series is that he chose to obviously have you have to have a hero. You've always got to
Yeah.
have
Oh,
someone
yeah.
who uses their powers for good. But why is there seemingly no in between? Like, why is it either you've got these powers and you save people, or you become a
Yeah.
crazy lunatic who wants to destroy the world? Because the antagonist, towards the end, he just decides that he wants to be essentially the last man standing, and he's
Yeah.
going to literally. I think he decides to kill everyone in Japan.
Yep.
And I just don't get his motives. It's never really explained. I think someone later tries to say that they saw him like killing animals when he was a kid, but I don't feel like you can just get these powers and then become a psychopath from that. Do you think it's because he felt like he wasn't human anymore?
I
or
think that's what it
something?
was. I think because he says at one point like he only feels human when he kills people. But there were so many points throughout the series where like he met that one girl and her grandma. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll protect you. And then he's like, I'm gonna stop killing people. Oh no, okay, so first he's like his mom got sick and then he healed his mom and then
Yeah.
like the police came for him and he had to fight them off. And but before that he's like, I'm gonna stop killing people. So then he's obviously has to be on the run and kill people, like just to get away and shit. And then he meets that one girl from his class who says that she likes him and her grandma. And then he's living with her, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna stop killing people. So he stops killing people. And then that like the armed forces or whatever raid the house and kill the grandma and the girl. And he's like, well, now I'm gonna kill everyone in Japan. So it's like every time he's tried to atone for it or like at least stop it, it's always like been escalated one more because like his actions are kind of catching up with him.
Yeah, but at the same time, his motives are just so confusing because it's like sometimes he has morals. He'll never kill his best friend, but he'll go and just kill like a kid in the bath with their parent, and it's just so messed up. This manga is probably more messed up than Gantz in certain parts.
Oh yeah,
with the exception of like the blackface thing with Gantz. I think.
yeah.
This does try. Oku always seems to try and one up himself, and he seems to like these events of mass chaos and mass violence,
And he
like
does them really well, I should say.
yeah. But
I think
it's quite messed up though. He must feel like when he draws it, he must be thinking, "Christ, people are going to think I'm insane."
I mean, okay, so the first time that like Hero used his power in public, and he got all the cars to crash, just he's like
Yeah.
orchestrating it like he's a conductor or whatever. Oh, it was. They're cool. They're cool scenes. Okay. Especially like my favorite scene I think throughout the entire thing was where he like storms the police station
Yeah.
and he just wins. Like he's like, nah, I'm gonna just fucking kill everybody.
I actually, I found that bit really crazy, but then at the same time, no one, this, throughout the whole of the manga, this really bothered me, is that no one ever seems to go, holy shit, like, this guy's a robot, or we need to try it. Like, the bit in the police station,
Yeah.
he goes in, he shoots loads of cops, and no one says, what's wrong with this guy? They all just kind of say, you're not going to outrun the police forever, you're just a teenager. And I'm like, he's not a teenager though, is he? Like, look at him. You've been shooting him in the face, and he just keeps like pointing his fingers at you and like popping off. Like, I don't
And like,
understand.
there's also like once he gets out of the police station, and there's all the other security like guards and like cops and like army and shit, and they're like, get him, and they all shoot him at the same time, and he doesn't die, and nobody, even then, nobody's like, this kid human? Like, what's going on here?
I think my favorite part actually from Inuyashiki was the bit where he starts killing all of the internet trolls.
Oh, that was great.
So, because I didn't see it coming, because they obviously can connect to the internet or the phones and stuff with their brains, and all of these people were just slagging him off after they found out who he was, and then his mother, spoiler, ends up committing suicide,
Yeah.
and it's like he finally has that bit of a mental breakdown, and he just contacts people, doesn't he, like on webcam or something. Like, he finds all the people tweeting about him online or whatever on Reddit or something, and then like points his finger at the screen, and they're all laughing at him, and then he just shoots them through the screen, and it was so cool. Like,
And that's
really
what,
well
and that
done.
led into he's like, oh, I guess I can do that now. And then he goes on the big screen in like Shibuya or whatever. He's like, hey guys, I'm gonna kill I think 1,000 people a day. And they're like, how? And then everybody who's got a phone is like dropping dead.
Yeah, it was just so creative. I'd have never thought of that
That's
ever.
good,
It was
yeah.
really cool. It's something that, again, that you can only really do in manga, that you couldn't do in any other sort of medium.
Well, there is a live action in Inuyashiki. I was gonna bring that up later, but like I gotta wonder how that works. It's got to be toned down, like to death. There's no way it's violent because the Gantz live actions were really toned down. I thought.
Yeah, they couldn't put in everything because it would just become this X-rated thing. Did you watch the Inuyashiki anime? Because
I did,
never
yeah,
saw that.
I did, yeah.
Was it well done?
Oh
Was
yeah,
it just a
it adapted.
straight copy?
Yep, adapted the whole thing. Skipped over like not really skipped over stuff. Just kind of like I guess truncated it, you could say. But it was overall really good. Like especially like the cop scene was so well done.
Do you remember the bit in the manga, which I wonder did they put in the anime, where Donald Trump just makes like murder legal? Did they actually put Donald Trump in the anime?
Yep.
Because that seems to be a trend at the minute. I've seen Donald Trump in.
It's been in quite a bit.
He was in the Death Note one shot. His face was in like Mujirushi as well.
Mhm.
Like they all wear these like Donald Trump masks. I'm pretty sure there's a character in Platinum End that wears a Donald Trump mask. That I just don't get why well, obviously he was prevalent at the time, and it seemed quite funny that when I was reading this, he like incited a riot as well on Twitter and was banned from the internet. I was like, it's not too far off the truth when you think about it, but
it's like I mean, at least it was a realistic depiction of Trump.
Yeah. But yeah, spoiler warning, I guess, at this point. Well, we have spoiled quite a bit of the manga anyway. But what did you think of the ending of Inuyashiki? Like, just in terms of how he set it up and...
I didn't like it at first. I really didn't, because it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of tries to, like, pepper it in with, like... There's, like, I think a couple panels, a couple volumes before it actually happens, where it's like, oh, it's a big asteroid coming, and then that's all you hear of it. And then, like, I think it's, like, the last volume and a half are, like, I guess the world's ending. Like, it feels really rushed to me, at least. Like, it feels like there's supposed to be a lot more, but I think he maybe wrote himself into a corner and thought, big asteroid.
Yeah, that was what I thought. It was like a cop out. I don't think he knew how to end it.
Yeah.
All of his manga that I have read have had a bit of a rushed ending to them.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that is just because he does, like you say, he has all these crazy ideas. They make for great stories, and you enjoy them for the ride of them. But he can't really. He doesn't figure out before he starts it how he wants to end it. I don't think. What I didn't like, obviously, I enjoyed it. I've read a lot of series that have crazy endings, and I thought, yeah, okay, we'll go with this. There's an asteroid, whatever. I like the fact that Inuyashiki decided to sacrifice himself to save the world because it seemed obvious. It seemed like what was going to happen. But the fact that Hiro did the same thing first, essentially, kind of really bothered me because it just really made it less impactful. I felt like he should have got what was coming to him, and he should have had his like comeuppance, and instead he just tries to go like, no, I'll make up for things. I'll kill myself, and it was like, oh, they could have just done that. They could have just done that and had him save the world, and it been like a happy ending almost.
Yeah.
But instead, it was just like. All the events of the manga seem just crazy now because he was making planes fall out the sky. He killed so many people in Japan, only to blow himself up to try and destroy an asteroid and fail. That was it. That was his life. That was all he did.
Yeah, I mean, that's more or less my thoughts on it too. It would have been cooler to have. I don't know. Like, it would have been cooler for him to just at least be like, I understand I hurt a lot of people. I'll kill myself like for everyone to watch, which is like grim as shit now that I think about it. I've said it out loud, but like at least there would be some kind of closure there. Nobody knows that Hiro went to the moon and did that other than his friend Ando, because Inuyashiki told him, and that was that. So nobody knows Hiro. Everyone, as far as they're like, okay, Hiro's gone then, but nobody knows he tried to like atone for, which is I guess a good thing because like he's not doing it for like the recognition or anything. He's doing it to literally atone, but it doesn't work.
He was just the most confusing character, though. It was just like Inuyashiki had a clear goal. He wanted to save people. He did that by the end of it. So it was like it all made sense, and it was like Hiro was all over the place. There's like a kind of a little mini surprise reveal that the old woman and the girl that he was like in a sort of weird relationship with were actually alive at the end. So it was like he did manage to save them, but I would almost have preferred it that he like you say, atoned for what he did in a more public way, or he just decided to live a more peaceful life with them, or something. It was just stupid to have him die, only to.
I guess it's kind of real.
I
guess it's kind of realistic when you think about it, because if you give a fucking teenager that much power, they're not going to have a clear-cut goal of knowing what to do. They're going to just be all over the fuck. He's like, I'll go kill people. No, I don't want to kill people. I'm going to kill people. I don't want to kill people. I'll kill myself, I guess. And that's I think that'd be a pretty accurate teenage robot kind of character. So I have to give him credit for that. But it's just, it's kind of weird to see.
Yeah. I think by the time I got to the end of Inuyashiki, it was sort of like, I was just expecting some sort of nonsense anyway. It was like the whole thing was just throwing in crazy shit all the way through. There's that bit with the Yakuzas that even Inuyashiki has his moments where he tries to save people. He obviously heals a lot of people from illnesses, but then he goes so there's this Yakuza boss who's like drugging and raping women and stuff, and he shows up, doesn't he, where they're all having this meeting, and then blinds and paralyzes them all. It's
That was
crazy.
so cool. That was cool. I like that. Like, it's just the thing I love about Oku's manga is like the big grand moments of violence. He always does so well.
They're
And
always like double page
Oh, yeah.
like spreads
Yeah.
as well. It's so good.
It's just it's always he knows how to portray violence in a very entertaining way, and in what's the word I'm thinking of? A very unique way as well.
Yeah, and he does really well at these kind of grand landscape shots, like the overhead shots
Yep.
of Japan were all really cool. The only bits I thought were a bit janky were like there's the planes that are falling out of the sky.
Mm.
Some of it is obviously he does like digital
Yeah,
manga methods, and it was quite obvious that he'd like cut and paste a picture of an aeroplane and just slapped it on top, and it looked really weird. But it's quite quaint as well at the same time. It's unique to see, but it's a bit lazy a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, it works. It works.
Yeah. So should we end the Inuyashiki discussion there? If anyone's got anything that they want to kind of add that we didn't talk about, let us know in the comments. What did you think of Inuyashiki? Did you join in with the manga of the month? Because it'd be quite interesting to know how many people actually joined in on this.
Yeah, let us know if you did join in, because it gives us kind of an idea of how many people are joining in, because it's kind of cool to hear about that.
Yeah. So we've picked another 3 series, haven't we? Zach,
We have,
for the next
drum roll. So your 3 options for February. You guys have to choose what we read for February, and we should probably put this poll out like now.
Yeah.
So people get it in. So your choices this month are Dorohedoro, Fire Punch, and Beck Mongolian Chop Squad.
Yeah, so you can actually get Beck Mongolian Chop Squad like digitally. I think is the only way to get that series. Fire Punch we chose because it's a much shorter series. When you're voting, just be mindful that Dorohedoro is like 23 volumes.
Yeah.
Beck is 30 something.
34.
Yeah,
and then Fire Punch is 8.
Yeah, so weigh it up. Obviously, pick whatever series you want. We'll commit and we'll read as much of it as we can. Not guarantee I'm going to be able to read 34 volumes in a month. I think that's a bit excessive. But these are all series that we were just really interested in talking about. Zach's recently picked up all the final few volumes of Dorohedoro, so I'm guessing he's quite keen to read that.
I am. I'm going to read it either way, but if you guys want to vote on it.
And we both already read Fire Punch, and that would be quite an easy kind of quick read. And Beck is something that we both really love as a series. Zach's seen the anime. We picked it up on the Humble Bundle from Kodansha a while ago, so if any of you were lucky to get that, then you've also got that series in your back catalog.
If you guys didn't get that Humble Bundle in time, if you have either a Comixology Unlimited or Kindle Unlimited account, you can actually go read it all there for free. So
there you go. So readlegalmanga.com.
Thumbs up. I'm holding my thumbs up like we're still doing the video podcast.
But I love this idea. I think it's really cool. I think it's like a nice little thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gets more people listening to the podcast and it becomes more of an inclusive thing because we enjoy making this. For us, it's just a nice hangout where we get to catch up and talk about manga and stuff and nerd out for a while. But it'd be nice to include some of you as well in this and get more people reading manga, and we can obviously recommend stuff that's really good and within our tastes. So
really quick before I want to talk about Gigant a little bit, I get comments every now and again. I don't know if you get these. People keep asking me to put the podcast on Spotify. I know I forgot. I keep forgetting to do it. I'm going to do it today. So the next couple episodes will be up on Spotify by the end of the weekend, which will probably be months after this podcast gets released.
Yeah, hopefully this year. I mean, I know I'm trying to put out more YouTube videos, and Zach is as well, that we get more on the podcast thing, and we've done it more casually because they don't always perform really well. But I imagine that there's some of you listening to this now that have listened to it since we first put it out,
so
and thanks for that. We appreciate that, and we will. Like Zach said, we will get on that. We will make sure it's on Spotify. I know I listen to all my podcasts on Spotify, so that's an ideal thing rather than
the thing is it's just like how the podcast goes, guys. We're lazy. I literally just have to upload the audio to the website, and then that's all I have to do. Sorry.
Yeah, it took us part of the reason that the last one didn't come out is we took so long that I think we both forgot we even recorded one, and then when Zach went to edit it, he realized that half of the audio was missing. So sorry
And
for that.
I was genuinely, so what happened, I don't know what happened. I really don't. But like my microphone cut out 20 minutes into this like hour-long podcast. And it was just Callum stuff. And I thought, you know what? I wonder if I can fake this. I wonder if I could just like record a bunch of like responses and just cut them in. I'm like, that's too much work. We'll just do a new one.
It would be really obvious as well. I
It'd be
think.
like you talking casually and be like me like, ah, yeah, no, I totally understand. And then I have to cut out because it's like too long. It's just.
But we do enjoy making this,
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
yeah, we'll get more on that. So to kind of round out, I guess, as a quick topic, let's discuss Gigant.
Have you read it yet?
I haven't actually, so
Okay.
I don't mind if you want to talk to me about it. I will read it. I'm just planning on storing it up really because
It's yeah, it's another one of those. I think it's gonna be more like Inuyashiki than anything, like in the way that it's like a shorter series. Because I know it's wrapping up now. It's gonna be done in a few chapters, I think.
yeah.
And I've been reading it illegally, but I'm still buying it, so it's okay.
I know what the premise is though. It's like a porn star
yeah.
that can become giant,
That's
basically.
pretty much all it is. There's like a kid who wants to be like a film director, and he's got a favorite porn star who he ends up meeting. The two of them end up making, like I said earlier on, they become friends because they follow each other. And basically, what happens is like someone finds out that she lives in their neighborhood and puts up posters like, "Oh, if you find this porn star, she'll like have sex with you." And he's like, "This is disrespectful," and starts taking them down.
Yeah.
And then she sees him take him down, and they become friends, and they follow each other on Twitter. They talk about Gantz and Inuyashiki. And yeah, they become friends. Eventually, they start dating, which is very questionable because she's an adult and he's 16.
God.
Which you all know what comes of dating, so I'll leave that there.
Yeah.
It is mostly, I think, Hiroya Oku being like, I wonder how many tits I can get away with drawing in one chapter.
It did feel like it was just his big fan service manga.
It
like
really,
he
it
always.
is. It is, and I say this to everybody, and I have to keep saying this: give it 3 volumes, because that like the 3rd volume is where like the sci-fi shit comes in.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I only own the first volume.
Yeah.
I don't know how many's out, but there might be 3 or maybe 4. But
I think the 4th one just came out.
it is on my list. Everything like this. Like it's same with Chainsaw Man. When I know that I'm gonna like them because I already like the stuff that the mangaka puts out, I just save them up
Yeah.
and I read them all at once. So
Exactly. Yeah.
it's something that I wouldn't mind. We could talk about again on another podcast, or
Yeah,
maybe
for
I'll
sure.
put out a review video or something. I don't know, but that's
It's yeah, no, it's I fucking love it because I just love Hiroya Oku stuff. But like this one, I was like, this is weird. This is mostly like just pages of like this kid having sex with a porn star. But then like, what happens with the sci-fi stuff is like there's a website called Enjoy the End or something the End or whatever,
yeah,
and people put in like what they want to happen, like what kind of wishes they want God to grant, and then everybody votes on it. So like there's one part where it's like a big giant god comes and starts killing the world or destroying people or whatever, and that happens. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna use my power of growing giant, which comes out of nowhere, by the way. They just see like a homeless guy in the street, and then he's just like, hey, you want this? And then he slaps a fucking like watch kind of thing on her wrist, and then she's like stuck with that power.
is that literally it? Do you not?
It gets explained. It gets explained later. Everything gets explained later on. I don't want to spoil it because it's not going to be for a while. It won't be out here for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes from like that, and then it's just like her fighting a bunch of like aliens and shit, like giant aliens and shit. And I'll spoil this a little bit because it's not too much of a spoiler. But there's a scene where there's like 3 aliens and they're like trying to kill her, and she's like, "Oh, I know." She shrinks herself down, goes inside the alien, and then enlarges herself and blows the alien up. I was like, "Oh my god, Hiroya Oku, man, this guy thinks of
so
fucking
cool.
everything."
He's such a badass of the manga world, isn't he?
But the thing I love about it is everybody. I think it's a really kind of poignant look at how society treats sex workers too, because everyone's like, "Oh, porn stars, they're whatever, they're weird and gross and whatever." And now she's one, and she's literally saving. It's kind of like Inuyashiki, like it's like a not forgotten member of society, but an underlooked member of society. It's kind of saving the world and like proving their value in a way that they shouldn't have to, but they do. And it's just nobody looks at it like that because I think about things way too much. Everyone's like, "Oh wow, big boobs." That's all everyone
I
will
love
see.
I love how he does try and put some morality or a bit of yeah, reasoning theme behind his manga. It's like he goes to these meetings with his editor or something. He's like, so I've got this idea, and like, yeah, and he's like, giant boobs, and they're like, okay, good. Have you got a moral for that? And he's like, oh, I'll come up with it later, and then he just throws something in. It's like, how
Giant
does she
boobs
become?
fight alien, and then the
Yeah.
editor's like, okay.
But yeah, shall we round off well, finish off the podcast with a quick sort of what manga series are you most excited for this year? I know you've made a whole
Yeah,
anticipated manga
yeah.
video.
There's
I've
really
got
only
one.
one that I'm like super duper excited for. I'm pretty sure we can all guess. It's number 5 by Tai
Yeah.
Matsumoto. Yeah, it's really there's no reason, obviously.
Have you read it before? Like, have you read it
So
already?
back when Viz first started, what happened is like Viz released the first 2 volumes, and back when they were like doing their like Viz Pulp imprint, which was like they were trying to make comics or manga more accessible to comic fans, so like they printed it like the backwards way and yeah. So I had the first 2 volumes of that, and there's which I'll always kick myself for getting ruined when my basement
Yeah.
flooded because they're super valuable now. And that's it. They released those 2 volumes, and there's like 8 volumes total, and that was it because like they sold 1,000 copies each or something like that. Because they were
Wow.
like that was the time when like Tech on Concrete just first came out, and they were like trying to like ride on the coattails of the fame that came from that, and didn't work. So
No.
they just said fuck it and
He's
canceled it. So I've read the
he's
first two
such
volumes.
a He's such a difficult mangaka to get into, though. I think
Yeah,
the best thing they're doing now is they're putting out these really high quality releases. So even people, I've seen a lot of people buy Ping Pong and say they didn't like it,
yeah,
but they clearly bought it because the covers are so nice. They're really unique. I think it's a great series anyway. I still need to get the second volume of that. But for people who've not read Matsumoto before, when you look back, you just had that really massive Tekken Concrete volume that was like it read left to right
yeah,
anyway, might have put off some people. We didn't have any of these fancy new releases
yeah.
that look really nice, so they're killing it at the minute with stuff like that. And obviously, that was something that you never thought was ever going to come out.
No,
And
I never did, and I remember when it got announced is I was making spaghetti, and um, I was pouring the sauce into the pan. I don't know why I remember this so vividly, but I was pouring the sauce into the pan, and or the pot rather, and my phone started blowing up. I was like, "What the fuck?" So I grabbed my phone and I'm like going through it really quick as I'm pouring the sauce into the pan, and then like I'm not looking, and the sauce is going all over the fucking like oven. And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And then it's like 40, like not 40, I'm exaggerating, but like 10 people in the span of a minute tagged me in this, and I was like, "All right." And then I had to clean spaghetti sauce, so that's my story on that. So
this year's going to be so good for manga. I think there's
yeah,
so many Shuzo Ishimi works coming out that I'm like, yes,
the art book
I've got, I've got. Say again.
the art book is coming out. I think his Femme
Yeah,
Fatale. Yep.
yeah, that's like probably number one on my
Yeah,
list.
mine too.
I've got a whole like video recorded that I just need to edit to put out of like everything that I'm anticipating and what I want to collect this year and stuff. But I've got, I'd say that my number one is probably Die Dark
Oh
at the
yeah,
minute.
yeah, that too.
Because if you guys decide that you want to read Dorohedoro for the next monthly book club, this is the series by the same creator, but it's a really weird sci-fi series all about someone who's like bones. He's been turned into like a skeleton, and his bones can grant wishes. And he's traveling through the galaxy, which surprised me. I was like, "Wow, it's in space." He's traveling through space to try and find out who did it to him,
Yeah.
and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be full of wacky, zany characters, and
I
I'm
know.
really excited for that.
I said this in my video, but it was like if Die Dark does to sci-fi what Dorohedoro does to fantasy, I'm gonna fucking love it immediately because it
Yeah,
looks so good. I'm trying to think of what else is coming out. I made a video about it, and I can't even remember now. I
we
made a
got
video about
Shaman
it. Go watch
King.
it. Shaman King. Um,
Yeah, Under Ninja.
oh yeah, Under Ninja as well. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be good. And that's one that I've avoided scans of. I was gonna read like the scans of it just to kind of see if I'd like it, but I'm gonna go into it blind. I'm just gonna go into it based on my love of I'm a Hero.
I am still devastated that Dark Horse just like let that go out of print because I have 4 volumes of it. I'm never gonna get the ending of it, and it pisses me off because there's a nice little space on my shelf as well where it could go.
How many
Like
volumes do you need?
I've only got 4. I've got the
Oh
first
shit!
4.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you're gonna be collecting that for a while.
Yeah, they were never cheap as well. That was the worst thing because it was like you try and I think I remember thinking, oh, I need to get some more, and I bought the fourth one, and they were like £16 of volume,
Oh
like
yeah, they're
from where
they're
I
worth it
found.
though. I think, to me at least, they're worth it.
Yeah,
They're nice
I,
releases. You have to give Dark Horse credit where credit's due, but it's like Dark Horse and letting shit go out of print go hand in hand. It's like peanut butter and jelly, really. It bothers the shit out of me that they do that because it's like I don't get it. I don't get why they're a comics publisher that publishes manga. I get that, but it's like they don't have any faith in their manga, which is really weird. I don't know.
it sucks because a lot of their manga are really good as well. Like they just don't. They neglect them. They announced the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery omnibuses were going to be continued,
And they
and
never
they've not
have.
reprinted. They've not reprinted any of
Nope.
them. They've let them all go out of print.
No,
So
and I own the first two of that, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna bother with them. I'm gonna
yeah,
sell them because it's like whatever. But I feel bad because our friend on Highland Manga just she pops up on the Discord every now and again. She said she's just started I'm a Hero and she's collecting them, and I'm like, good luck.
I also watched Alonzi's collection video, and
Yeah.
he even says like, "Oh, I love this series. I have a feeling it might go out of print soon." I'm like, "Mate, that happened like last year. You're not gonna find them."
It's like that the South Park meme where it's like, and it's gone. That's
Yeah,
pretty much how Dark Horse releases work. You gotta get it when they come out, or you're never getting it.
yeah. So don't. I would say don't support them, but you know, if there's anything
Support
that you
them
want,
yeah, support Dark Horse if you can.
there's anything that you want, go and get it as and when.
Um,
Especially those deluxe editions, they look really nice. But
final bit of me bitching, complaining about Dark Horse is like back when the you know what started hitting, and like the Gantz Omnibus was pushed back. They didn't announce it. I tweeted them like 5 times before they finally answered. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's delayed till next year because of COVID." It's like, okay, we'll say that. Like say
yeah,
something. But also, people there was like a rumor from someone who actually I don't know if they worked at Dark Horse or like knew people who worked at Dark Horse, but they said that they were going to be like hardcover, like kind of like the Berserk edition, but of Gantz. And I was like, fuck sakes, if they do that and I have to start Gantz over from the beginning, I'm just not going to bother.
I've heard that floating around a
Yeah,
lot, actually. I don't know whether that's just because that's what people want to happen, but it would explain sort of why they've been slowing down releasing those
yeah.
new omnibus versions, and a lot of people hate those as well. Like I bet
They're
you
not good quality, man. Like
they just stitch three
yeah,
volumes together,
they did,
and
and they're for reading. They're not for collecting. I've been saying, like, if you want to collect, go and spend money on the singles if you can. But no, these things. The second you have to like read them like that, like
yeah,
open them ever so slightly. Because like I remember I got the first one and I opened it, and I got to the middle, and the second I closed it, like the spine cracked. So I was like, okay, that's never getting resold. So
I think they should just they've made their bed. They should actually print those omnibuses that they're going for, and maybe just bring back something else in like a deluxe edition. Give
yeah,
us like Eden, It's an Endless World, or Bokurano. Did they have Bokurano?
no, that was Viz.
Viz. I want them to do it anyway. Bring us that. Give us
Yeah,
that.
yeah, do it. Another one that Dark Horse went out of print that I really want to buy is what the fuck's it called? Blood Blockade Battlefront Album. I know it by the Japanese name, Keke Sensei or Sensen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good series that went out of print stupidly.
They had MPD Psycho
That
as
too.
well.
That was the other one I was thinking of. I want that, but I can't get
Yeah.
it because it's like so fucking. And I keep seeing like people on Instagram like, "Oh, look what I got," and it's like, okay, good for you. Give it to me. Like,
But they at the same time, I nearly bought it on eBay the other day. Someone was selling, I think, all of it, but for fairly cheap, and I was like, maybe. But then I remembered that they didn't even print all of it.
no,
Like
that's the thing.
I think it's
Yeah.
like 9 or 11 out of however many there were,
Mhm.
and they never printed the last few of them. So what's the point? Why
Yeah.
would I do that?
So maybe Dark Horse, you can do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. They've obviously revisiting some of their older stuff because it has gone out of print, and
Mhm.
these deluxe versions sell really well, even though they're really expensive.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit bothered by them because if I dip in and buy any of them, I don't think they look particularly nice on my shelf if I just get one. Like I'd
Yeah,
want
I know
them
what you mean.
all. Like if I just get the Helsing ones,
Yeah.
I'll want the Berserk ones as well. Like
And like I haven't read Berserk, but I would like to. I don't know if the singles are in print or out of print. They're probably not. They're probably
they
not.
are.
They're in
They've
print?
kept
Yeah.
them in print
Oh,
as
okay.
well.
It's
Because
just
they
because I've
released them when volume 40 came out, they still released them as single volumes, so they're
Okay.
releasing them in singles as well, so you can get both if you want.
Because I do like the big, giant fucking Bible looking thing, but it's like every time I go and I'm like look at it, it's like 40 quid, and it's like nah, I'm not spending that much on a manga. It'll be worth it,
I've
but
seen
like
them as low as 30, but even
even
that is
30 is
like
too much. I
it's
think.
not
Yeah.
it's not a discount because the single volumes are like £10 each anyway, so
Yeah.
you're
I mean,
paying the same.
this is another thing for like I don't know why Dark Horse doesn't just do digital manga too. But anyways, yeah. Before this podcast quickly turns back into bitching about Dark Horse.
Yeah. Shall we just sort of let the people know, I
Yeah.
guess, where they can find us, any sort of videos we've got up and coming, things like that.
Sure, you know the joke we do every time. You can find me everywhere at Uchuu Shelf, and where can they find you?
Uh, I don't know why I've done this to myself. You can find me at On the Shelf 2 on Twitter, and On the Shelf 2 on YouTube, and On the Shelf 64 on Instagram. And if you can't find me at On the Shelf 2, just try On the Shelf 64 because it's one or the other. I'm pretty sure I got those right. Up and coming on my channel though, I've got as I said before, I've got my most anticipated manga of 2021 and some like collecting goals that I've set for myself that I probably won't stick to. I've got my top 10 manga of all time video that's coming out today, but this podcast will be out later, so you probably go back and watch that now. And I'm also going to do a anime collection video, so I'm going to film everything that's in my anime collection. It's going to take me ages, so you better go and watch it because otherwise I'll be pissed.
What do I got coming out? I think this will be out after Sunday, so which would probably be fine. So I started reading One Piece, so I'm gonna start making videos about that. I'm gonna review arcs, maybe do top 5 things, try and get the views and justify spending as much as I did on my new camera. You know, this I think I'm gonna have a video out tonight if everything goes well. Basically, Manga Rock are back at it again with their bullshit, so I'm making another video on that.
Yay, more drama. The
yeah.
sunglasses are coming out.
They are, and I was just thinking, I actually just said that to Ellie on like Wednesday. I was like, man, I really need like a single mom in the States to be an asshole about manga. It's like no, because like I got like 4 comments in the last like 24 hours on that like Miss whatever the fuck Dragon Maid video that I made.
Yeah,
and it's like almost hitting 10K. It's like one of my most popular videos. So I'm like, man, if I can make more videos like that, but like about anime and manga, I'm set. So I love doing them because it's just like me being a complete dick.
Plus, they're always funny because just like I just like to see the drama unfold on your channel and see
funny.
what's happening in the manga world. I'm looking forward to that One Piece series that you're doing as well because I've been quite outspoken about my opinions on One Piece. I gifted all of my One Piece to
you did
else.
Yeah, and I remember that because then someone replied to your story and they're like, why would you do that? It's like,
yeah,
fuck you. That's why.
I think they said they unsubscribed or unfollowed or something because I gave away One Piece. I think I enjoyed it when I read it, but I didn't enjoy it enough to want 90 something volumes of it.
Yeah, like I'm not buying the volumes. I'm just reading it on the app. I'm not going to like start collecting them. I'm not that big of a fan yet. But it was like going from Inuyashiki like right to One Piece was like a really stark contrast in like tone and everything. But it was like kind of perfect because it's like I just binged this like really kind of dark, gruesome series and I was like, man, I really need something like light to read. And it like hit all the right spots perfectly. It was like, I like this. So I bought like a One Piece hat, like an official like straw hat kind of thing. I'm gonna wear that, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. So
yeah, look forward to that. I know I will. I'm eagerly anticipating that series of videos.
And then I got some other I got a list. I don't remember what's on it. I just looked at the list on Friday and I'm like, I'll do that maybe this weekend, and then I don't. So
yeah, we usually sometimes let people know what we planned on Twitter. So go and follow us on there.
I'm really the thing is I know people like I know it's like to do good on YouTube is to like have a schedule, and I can't do it. I've tried. I'll be like, I'll have a video on Tuesday and Sunday. And that was gonna be my plan this year. I was gonna have a video on Tuesday and Sunday, and I did that for 1 week and said I can't do it. I can't do it every week.
It takes the fun out of it for me if you try and set too many restrictions. I'd like to get at least a video out a week, or but I've been putting out, I'd say, more than that
Hmm.
recently. I've done one at the weekend and one in the week,
Yeah.
but I don't set myself specific days. I don't get how people can have schedules or put out videos every day. I think
It's
props to you.
yeah. If you guys, no, not knocking on these people, but like, and not saying it's not a job to do YouTube, but like having to work all fucking week and then be like, there's some weeks because like I work a creative field, so like there
Yeah.
are some weeks where I get to Friday and I'm like I can't even look at a computer this weekend. I gotta like get off, but yeah, it's just I don't know. Another video actually that I got coming out too. I'm filming later today is one with Ellie because she wants to like start getting into YouTube. So
Oh,
like
cute. That's cool.
that's her kind of foray into it. Um, there's like a I don't know if you saw in our Discord that documentary Alex posted about like the Christians bitching about anime and how it's evil. So we're gonna watch that and goof on them. So that'll be fun to do.
Awesome.
So
That'll be so good. Is she gonna start her own channel, or is this just
she okay. So
testing the
she's
waters,
testing the
or
waters, but she keeps saying like okay. So for years, well, I say years, but it was like the last like year. She's like, how come you don't let me come in any of your videos? And it's like okay, come in a video. She's like, no, I'm too shy. It's like, okay, well then stop asking. And then finally she's like, well, let's do that video together. And so she wants to do like videos, and I think she wants to do like a video game channel as well. Like,
that'll be
talk about
cool?
because I know she has like a million opinions on near. All she does all day is play Genshin Impact, so I'm sure she'll have some ideas for videos on
Yeah,
that too.
I'm pretty sure the
Um,
first time I spoke to her, she tried to tell me how near Automata is like art.
that
It's not just a video game; it's
that
art.
sounds like her. Oh yeah, that sounds like her.
We should get her on the podcast sometime. I mean, I
We
think
could do
we've
that.
already decided or discussed that we want to kind of get some guests on
Yeah,
every so
and I
often.
keep forgetting to. I won't say who it is. I keep forgetting to ask our first guest every time I talk
Yeah,
to him if he wants to come on. But with Volume 4 of that coming out, we can read that and then um, we'll ask him if he wants to come on because that'll be a good way to do it. We can do like a
yeah.
mini podcast, I guess, before we do the next one.
If there's anyone watching this as well who's like a YouTuber
Yeah,
or just an anime manga fan that we speak to, or even not, I guess, and you might be interested in coming on the podcast, let us know. We can look into that. That could be cool.
one idea I've always had. I'm just like shooting ideas now. This isn't even for just a podcast. Is to like just like get my dad or mom. Not even my dad or mom, but it's like my. I have three siblings, but like my one of my brothers is like not a nerd at all. He's like a huge sports fan, and I've always
Yeah,
wanted to get him to like watch an anime and then like sit and talk about it with me, but he won't do it. He just won't do it. He
I
he just
I
he
got
goofs on
Meg
me.
to watch some anime trailers once or something,
Oh, I
and
remember that. Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
she just she's not into it. I can't convince her otherwise, but I've tried, you know.
I don't know if it was that one or the other one you did with her, but there's like a video where she just starts off. She's like, "What's on the shelf?" And I fucking laugh every time because you're just like, I can hear like you deflating and like, not like, what the hell?
Yeah, because one of them was I got her to guess from, I think it was like the cover of a manga, like what she thought it was about or
Yeah,
something. That was quite fun. Maybe I'll do some more of them
that
at
was the one I
some
was gonna
point.
do with my brothers because like the goof when I was living at home, like goof me and my brother did is we always showed him like anime scenes or anime openings, and my brother would be like, "We'll just like watch it, you'll like it, you'll like it." He's like, "Why do they always just run?" So I was gonna like get a collection of anime openings where nobody runs, and like it would just be like completely self indulgent to like and funny to maybe four people, but yeah,
All the Naruto openings have just
all
got
the
running
Naruto
in
openings.
them. Oh yeah, by the way, I was watching your Twitch stream for
Oh, did you
Summer
watch
last
it? Yeah,
night.
sorry,
That was
I
fun.
outed you, sort of, because you came in incognito, and I was like, "Where do I know that username from?" Oh, it's him.
So if you're on Twitch,
Yeah.
where is it just at Uchuu
Just
Shelf
that
again?
issue
Or?
shelf. Yeah, so I keep forgetting I even have a Twitch. Yeah, it's twitch.tv/issue shelf. Um, that was the first one I did. It was we just watched anime openings, and it was like 25 people showed up, and it was fun.
It
Killed
was
good,
fun.
good way to
It was
kill
cool,
two
and
and a half
you're on
hours.
there playing a lot of like Pokemon and old school video games and stuff. It's a
There was
nice
I had a
change.
structure to it, and then someone was like, "Hey, play the Beyblade, like the English Beyblade theme," and then it just fucking went from there. So
Ah,
it was fun.
love that.
It
Love
was
it.
good. Mostly I play Pokemon though on there, which is I should probably do that
And I am not on Twitch because I don't know how it works. So yeah,
again. you
don't look
just
forward to that.
you just play games and people show up. That's pretty much all there is
But yeah,
to it. Yeah.
thanks for listening, guys. If you made it this far, give us a like and a follow, and hopefully, if it'll be on Spotify, I imagine.
It will be. That's my first
With
point of order after we're done here is to get everything up on that. So
But as I say, at the time that this is released, the poll should be out for the next month of reads. I'm
Mhm.
gonna kind of go and tweet that probably today or later, so you can get your vote in for what you want us to read for the next month. And yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully you enjoyed this because we did. I thought it was cool.
it's always fun. Yeah, until next time, guys, we'll see you.
Yeah, bye.